Says a fourth booster shot is necessary to maintain protection against COVID-19. Dr. Albert Bourla made the comments while speaking with Face the Nation moderator Margaret Brennan. They also discussed the impact of U.S. politics on the pharmaceutical industry and his new book, Moonshot, which details the fight to get the COVID vaccine available within the first 9 months of the pandemic. Here's part of their conversation.
You know, in your book, you do write about the Biden administration. You say the administration repeatedly said that it will waive intellectual property protections in order to help global equity, essentially giving out your recipe to other manufacturers, right? You say you felt betrayed by the administration when they announced that they would waive intellectual property rights. Betrayed?
Betrayed, because
Did they tell you they weren't going to do it, and then they announced this?
No, it's not that. It is that they knew very well that this measure will not bring the results that was intended to bring. They knew very well all the details, that there were not enough vaccines for all the world at a time, not because of intellectual property barriers, but because raw materials were not available at the time, because the mRNA technology, that was the prevailed technology, was very new. So we built everything from scratch. And they knew that even if they give the intellectual properties to anyone, no one will be able to make. But nevertheless, they did it. And I think that was a mistake.
And you said it was something toothless being given to the progressive wing of the party that was against the pharmaceutical industry.
I totally believe that.
You believe that this was just playing politics?
Yes, when you say I support the wave of intellectual property, you know that in an organization that you need unanimity, and you know that the whole Europe is against it, you know that this will never fly. So, but it is an easy give.
I want to ask you about Operation Warp Speed. When you were last on this program, it was September of 2020, and you said at the time you were deciding not to take taxpayer dollars because you said it would liberate scientists from any bureaucracy when you get money from someone that always comes with strings. So you expected political pressure from the get-go.
There was tremendous political pressure. We need to make a vaccine. But if you take the money, then you have also bureaucratic pressure. We moved with the speed of a sprint, although we have a sight of an elephant, right? So.
And you said, what, instead of time is money, time is life.
That was the motto, and it was already in Pfizer we're using that. Time is life. Because you delay a month, you should measure coffins when you delay a month in cases like that. And that's why I said time is life, just do it fast.
You know, there's been criticism of Pfizer from former Trump officials and books and the like. One of them called Pfizer the least transparent and least collaborative of all the vaccine manufacturers.
I think this administration was very frustrated because the vaccine came after the elections. Some of them thought, particularly I think the president made it clear in some statements. There is also another item. I thought that they would be very happy when we told them we don't take the money. We are here, we don't need your money, we will do it in our own money, but we're here to collaborate. That somehow they felt that they have less ownership on us. Somehow they felt that if we are the ones to cut the line, they cannot take that much credit. Not that anybody would have difficulty to take credit if we were successful, because usually success has many fathers, as you know. But that was something that we faced, and we saw a lot of animosity in certain cases against us, just because of that. Eventually, we were able to manage the situation, and we were the first ones to cross the line with a good vaccine, and we had a happy ending to that.
Is animosity another word for tweets?
I wish it was only the tweets. It was even more. It was us trying to get supply materials from suppliers that we had placed orders with our money well ahead, and then the supplier telling us, you are not in the list, I can't give it to you.
You weren't on a U.S. government list.
Yeah. And I said, what do you mean we are not in the list? You are not in the U.S. government list. You can't get the supplies that you asked. Ask the U.S. government. And then we're going to say, there is a list, why are you not in this list? So, well, you're not part of Operation Warp Speed. We are.
But they were favoring those who were taking taxpayer dollars over Pfizer.
Yes, clearly.
Did that slow down production?
Yes, and create a lot of anxiety and created a lot of creativity of us to try to find alternative ways. doing our job, but that was clearly not a good situation.
Do you think you could have gotten a vaccine in less than 9 months if this hadn't been an impediment?
No, most of that affected how much we could manufacture. Maybe we could manufacture a little bit more in the beginning, but didn't affect the study, the clinical study.
And why who was doing that?
I think there was a whole set of Operation Warp Speed that they were doing, let's say, several. It was not always very clear.
Led by Dr. Monsef Slaoui.
Yes, I spoke to Monsef and he was trying to help on that, but he also himself didn't realize why and what things are happening, frankly.
Mm-hmm. You said the president never once spoke to you. President Trump never called you.
After the elections. I think we had good relations and we were speaking before the elections. He called several times to find out what is the progress of our research. And I was giving him all the download as to how we are doing, as I was doing from the president campaign, also the Biden campaign. Mm-hmm. So, and we were doing the same with the speaker, and we're doing the same with both leaders of the aisle. So we were very transparent as to how we progressed. After, everybody called me to congratulate me. As I said, the president didn't, and I think I know why, because he was frustrated that he believed wrongly that we did it on purpose and we came after the elections.
Well, it just seems contradictory that the administration's pressuring you to speed up before the election, but making it more difficult for you to get the supplies to produce the vaccine.
Yes, you're right. It's counterintuitive.
Did you point that out to the administration?
I did, and also I was trying to explain at that time that, of course, nobody knows who will be and who will not be successful.
What was the toughest moment for you during this pandemic?
You know, there were a lot of disappointments because every day it was so complex project that things will happen, and some will be successful and some will fail. Some of them, many times I felt that this is a fatal, let's say, incident, so that could kill the project. Eventually, none of them were able to overcome all the challenges. But you can imagine when you feel the pressure of the entire world on your shoulders. Keep in mind, Margaret, at that time, billions of people were just hoping that Pfizer, one of us, will bring a solution, and that's it. That we were the only hope for the world. So that you can feel that pressure on your shoulders.
How did you deal with that?
I tried to rise to the occasion. I felt that, it happened that I am in this position. This is what I have to do. I convinced myself that failure is not an option, and then I tried to convince everyone else that we won't fail because we don't have this option.
Thank you, Dr. Bourla, for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.